The signal came without warning. Every screen across the solar system went black, then filled with the emblem of the Galactic Council. The voice that followed was calm and cold, the kind that had spoken surrender to 100 worlds before. It said Earth had reached the limit of its independence. It said humanity would now pay tribute in ships, minerals, and lives. It said refusal meant extinction. The message ended with a timer counting down. 3 days. In the United Earth Command Chamber, the air was heavy. Screens lined the walls, showing every colony, every fleet, every face waiting for orders. No one spoke. The silence felt like gravity. Captain Elias Ward stood near the center table. His uniform was old, the edges worn from years of field service. He had fought on Mars, bled in the belt, and seen men die for worlds no one remembered. He looked at the screen where the alien message repeated again and again. The council members argued. Some shouted for surrender, others for diplomacy. One man slammed his hand on the table and yelled that humans could not win against the council. Another said they had no right to fight a war they would lose. Ward listened, jaw tight. The words meant nothing to him. He remembered the sound of a dying city, the screams under red skies, the smell of burned air. Finally, the Commander-General asked, "Captain Ward, you've seen the most combat here. What do you think?" Ward looked up. His eyes were gray and hard. "I think we've already been given the choice," he said. The general frowned. "And what would you say to them?" Ward reached forward and turned on the open channel. The alien emblem flashed on the screen. 1,000 translators around the system listened. Billions watched the feed. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't look at anyone else. He just said one word. "No." The word echoed through the chamber like a shot. For a second, no one moved. Then the screens flickered again. The council's emblem vanished, replaced by the cold symbol of the Var Dominion. A deep voice came through the static. It was not mechanical. It was alive and cruel. "Your defiance is recorded. Earth will burn." The connection ended. The chamber fell into chaos. Orders flew across channels. Fleets were recalled. Civilians panicked. The first reports came from Neptune Station. Contact lost. Then from the mining base on Triton. Destroyed. Ward stood still while the others shouted. His heart felt heavy but calm. He turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Cole. "Get me the Mars reserves. Every ship still hidden under the dust fields?" Cole hesitated. "Those ships are old. Half of them barely fly." "Then we make them fly," Ward said. "Call them the Black Line." Cole looked at him. "That's a suicide command." "So is waiting here," Ward said. They walked through the metal corridors toward the launch bay. The walls shook with the rumble of engines as ships lifted from their cradles. The light was red, alarms echoing from every direction. Ward stopped for a moment at the observation window. He could see Earth in the distance, blue and small, framed by the burning edge of the sun. He thought about his father's words before the outer war. "When they push us, we push back." He whispered it under his breath. A voice came over the comms. "Sir, new signal inbound. Multiple jump signatures entering the system." Ward answered quietly. "How many?" The operator swallowed. "Hundreds, sir. Maybe more." Ward looked out at the black space filling with hostile lights. His reflection stared back from the glass. Tired eyes, unshaken face. He felt no fear now, only something cold and ready. He turned to Cole and said, "Tell them to lock positions. No one runs." Outside, the first alien warships came into view. The sky over Mars began to burn. Ward didn't look away. He just said, "Ready the Black Line." The sky above Mars burned red as the first Var fleet entered orbit. Their ships were huge, covered in black armor that looked alive. They moved like hunters circling prey. Each one carried enough fire to destroy a city. Below, the Martian colonies went dark one by one. Captain Elias Ward stood on the command deck of the Iron Wind. The ship's old metal plates rattled under pressure, but the engines held. Around him, the crew moved fast between stations. Most were veterans, miners, and engineers who had fought too many losing battles. They called themselves the Refusers now. None of them expected to survive, but none planned to run. Ward looked at the tactical map. The alien fleet was forming a wall between Earth and Mars. He knew what that meant. They wanted to end this fight here before humans could organize. He tapped the console. "Bring the black line online," he said. Dozens of hidden signals answered. Under the Martian dust, old warships rose from long sleep. Some were covered in rust and sand. Others still bore scars from the outer war. Engines screamed as they came alive again. The black line was not a fleet. It was a graveyard turned weapon. Lieutenant Cole came to Ward's side. His face was pale under the dim red lights. "Sir, we're outnumbered at least 10 to 1. Ward nodded. "That means they can't miss us." The comms officer shouted, "VAR fleet is charging primary weapons. We're inside their target lock." Ward looked at the view screen. He could see the nearest alien ship glowing with light from its weapon ports. He took a breath. "All ships, prepare to fire on my mark. Target their engines. We don't win this by dying fast." The bridge lights flickered as the first enemy blast hit Mars orbit. One of the Black Line ships exploded, breaking apart in silence. Another was torn in half. The rest held formation. Ward gave the order. "Fire!" Every gun on every ship opened up. Rail rounds and plasma bursts filled the void. The battle turned into chaos. Human ships weaved through alien fire using broken satellites and debris as cover. The Black Line fought like cornered animals. They had no shields strong enough to hold, but they kept shooting. Every kill mattered. Ward gripped the railing as the Iron Wind shook from impact. Sparks flew from a console. Cole shouted, "We lost the dorsal cannons." "Keep the lower batteries hot," Ward said. "Aim for their fuel cores. Make them burn." Another explosion lit the darkness. A VAR destroyer cracked open, spilling fire and broken metal into orbit. The humans cheered, but it didn't last. More enemy ships came through the jump gates. Hundreds more. The Iron Wind's sensors screamed. Cole looked at Ward. They just deployed drones. Thousands of them. Ward stared at the screen. The drones moved fast, small black shapes cutting through the wreckage. He clenched his jaw. "Redirect the minefields. Now." The crew worked fast. Old magnetic mines floated out from storage bays, drifting among the human ships. When the first drones entered the field, Ward triggered the command. The void lit up. A chain of explosions tore through the drone swarm. The shockwave slammed against both fleets. For a moment, the battlefield went dark except for the burning wrecks drifting between Mars and the stars. The comms officer turned, voice shaking. "Sir, we did it. They're pulling back." Ward looked at the readings. The main VAR fleet was retreating. He didn't trust it. He had seen this tactic before. He spoke quietly. "They're not retreating. They're clearing space." Cole frowned. "Clearing space for what?" The answer came a moment later. A massive shadow filled the screen. It was not a ship. It was something larger, darker, and still moving closer. Its size blocked out the stars. The sensors went wild. The operator whispered, "Sir, it's a Dread Titan." Ward didn't speak for a long moment. He stared at the massive shape drawing near. Then he said very softly, "All ships hold position. We fight till the last man." The Dread Titan's eyes lit up like suns. The Dread Titan moved into Mars' orbit like a dark planet. Its hull was covered in living metal, pulsing with red veins of energy. Each pulse sent a shockwave through nearby ships. The alien weapon was so large that its gravity pulled debris toward it. The human fleet scattered, but there was no place to hide. On the command deck of the Iron Wind, Captain Elias Ward watched the monster fill the view screen. His crew was silent. The Titan's weapon core began to charge. The light from it turned space blood red. Lieutenant Cole whispered, "That thing could wipe out Mars with one shot." Ward's voice stayed calm. "We're not going to let it fire." Cole stared at him. "Sir, how?" Ward tapped the console, bringing up the Titan's schematics captured from old records. "We get inside. Take its heart." The crew looked at him like he was insane. Boarding an enemy war machine that size meant certain death. Ward didn't care. He looked around the deck. "We have one chance. We cripple that core, or everyone dies anyway." No one argued. They knew he was right. Minutes later, shuttles launched from the Iron Wind, diving through wreckage and fire. Alien drones swarmed after them. Human gunners tore them apart in waves of plasma. The shuttles shook under fire, alarms screaming, metal groaning. Ward sat in the lead shuttle, helmet on, rifle across his lap. The heat from the Titan's glow painted his armor red. Cole's voice came through the comms. "Hull breach near entry zone. We're losing pressure fast." Ward replied, "Seal it. We make it to the core, or we die trying." The shuttle slammed into the Titan's outer hull, scraping metal until the magnetic clamps locked. Sparks lit the cabin. The side door blew open with a burst of air, and the strike team jumped into darkness. Inside, the Titan's corridors were alive. The walls pulsed like muscle. Strange fluids dripped from ceiling veins. The air smelled like metal and rot. The soldiers moved fast, guns ready, boots clanging on alien bone. Ward led the way. He used the map on his visor, but the layout changed every few minutes. The ship was alive and adapting. They fought through nests of alien drones, each one tougher than the last. Pulse rounds tore through armor, acid hissed, and screams echoed through the comms. One Marine went down when a drone cut through his suit. Another vanished in a flash of fire. Ward didn't stop. Every step forward was paid in blood. Finally, they reached the core chamber. It was huge, filled with cables and energy conduits that looked like veins feeding a beating heart. At the center, the power core glowed with white heat. The hum shook the floor. An alien general waited there. The creature stood twice the height of a man, its body armored in living plates. Its voice was deep and harsh. "You think humans can defy the Dominion? You think you matter?" Ward raised his rifle. "I think you talk too much." The alien roared and charged. Ward fired, hitting its center mass, but the creature kept coming. It smashed him against a wall. The impact rattled his armor. He drew a magnetic mine from his belt and slapped it onto the alien's chest. "Here's my answer." He kicked off and rolled away. The mine went off, ripping the general apart. Alien blood splashed across the floor. Ward staggered toward the control node. Sparks burst around him. "Cole," he said into the comms, "get the fleet out of range. I'm setting the core to overload." "You won't make it out, sir." "Not planning to. Just make sure it counts." He linked his suit into the Titan system. The ship's neural code flooded his display. For a moment he saw everything. The alien fleet, their command structure, the worlds they had destroyed. He saw billions dead across the stars. His hand trembled, but he didn't stop. He pressed the final command. The Titan began to shake. The energy core pulsed brighter and brighter until it was blinding. Ward stood in the glow, surrounded by fire and metal coming apart. His last words over the comm were steady. "Tell Earth this is how humans say no." The Titan exploded, lighting half the system. The shockwave ripped through space, tearing apart the VAR fleet. Then silence. The Iron Wind watched from a distance, drifting among wreckage. Cole stared at the burning void and whispered, "He did it." But deep inside the static of the comms, a faint human voice still whispered back. The light from the Titan's explosion faded slowly, leaving only wreckage and silence. Across the system, every signal went dark. For a full minute, no one spoke. Then the comms came alive with broken voices, cheering and crying. The enemy fleet was gone. The dread Titan had been destroyed, but Captain Elias Ward was gone with it. On the Iron Wind, Lieutenant Cole stood at the command table. His uniform was burned, his eyes red. The surviving crew gathered around him, staring at the empty screen where the Titan's signal had vanished. Cole said nothing. He only lowered his head. A quiet voice broke through the static. "Ward's shuttle didn't make it out," a tech whispered. "Nothing left." Cole turned away. His throat felt dry. "He knew what he was doing," he said. "He saved us all." For the first time in years, Earth celebrated. The news spread across every colony. The Council's attack had failed. The world called Ward a hero. Monuments were planned before the ashes were cold. But Cole couldn't rest. Something about the final transmission wouldn't leave his mind. He replayed it over and over. There was a whisper at the end, hidden under the static, a pattern of human code. It was faint but real. Ward's voice was buried in it. Cole sat in the dark communications room, eyes fixed on the monitor. The words came through piece by piece. Still here, not gone. System alive. He leaned forward. "Ward," he said quietly, "if that's you, give me a signal." The lights flickered. Every system on the Iron Wind went dark for 2 seconds. When they came back, a single line appeared on the screen. Coordinates. Deep orbit near Neptune. Cole stared at them, heart pounding. It made no sense. The Titan was gone, vaporized, but the signal said otherwise. He called the bridge. "Prepare a scout ship. We're going to those coordinates." The Commander General's voice cut through the comm. "Negative, Lieutenant. The Council's regrouping. We need the Iron Wind here." "We can't ignore this," Cole said. "Ward's not dead. He's trapped in something. I can prove it." "You have your orders," the general snapped. "Stand down." Cole cut the channel and turned to the pilot. "You heard me. Launch the scout." The pilot hesitated, then nodded. Everyone on the ship had served under Ward. None of them could forget him. They broke orders without a word. The scout ship left Mars orbit, engines low to avoid sensors. The flight to Neptune took hours. The crew sat in silence, the stars stretching around them like cold fire. When they reached the coordinates, they found a field of twisted wreckage drifting in the dark. Cole stared out the window. The Titan's remains floated there, still alive with faint red light. Energy sparks ran across the broken surface. It looked dead, but breathing. The comms tech said, "I'm getting interference. Something inside that wreck is still running." Cole took a breath. "Bring us closer." They flew through the debris until they reached the center. A single pulse came from the wreck's core. The readings were strange, half alien, half human. Then Ward's voice came through the static again. "Don't rescue me," it said. "Use me." Cole froze. The crew looked at him, confused. The signal continued, stronger now, carrying fragments of thought mixed with code. Ward's consciousness was inside the wreck. The Titan's neural core had absorbed him during the explosion. Cole whispered, "He's merged with it. He's part of the system now." The ship's sensors spiked. The Titan wreck began to move. The lights inside it grew brighter, red mixing with white. Ward's voice came again, faster, almost urgent. "They're coming," he said. "The Council sent the Second Fleet. They know I'm here." Cole looked out at the dark edge of space. New jump signatures appeared one by one, hundreds of them. He turned to the crew. "Arm everything we have. Wake the Iron Wind. Ward's still fighting." Outside the window, the wreck of the Titan began to pulse like a beating heart. The wreck of the Titan came alive. Red light crawled across the broken hull, running like blood through veins of metal. Inside, Elias Ward's mind burned with fragments of memory and data. He was no longer flesh, no longer bound to one body. The ship's systems were part of him now. Every wire carried a thought. Every spark carried his will. He could see everything. The human fleet scattered around Neptune. The enemy warships jumping in from the void, the cold pull of the planet's gravity. He felt both human and machine, but his purpose was still the same. Protect Earth. Finish the fight. On the Iron Wind, Lieutenant Cole watched the readings climb. "Power surge inside the wreck," he said. "It's Ward. He's controlling it." The comms cracked with static, then Ward's voice filled the bridge. It was rough and electronic, but still him. "Cole, link the fleet to me. I can use their systems." Cole hesitated. "Sir, if we connect, you'll burn every ship out." "Then we burn together," Ward said. Cole gave the order. One by one, the ships connected to the Titan wreck through encrypted channels. The network came alive. Energy surged through human vessels. Old weapons reactivated, engines roared, and sensors flared brighter than ever before. The second VAR fleet appeared in perfect formation. Their warships stretched across the void like a wall of fire. They opened fire the moment they arrived. Plasma beams and kinetic shells tore through space, cutting lines of destruction toward the human fleet. But Ward was faster. He saw every shot before it landed. He redirected power, turned ships into moving shields, and struck back with precision the aliens could not match. Human vessels moved like a single organism. Missiles found weak points. Railguns tore through command ships. The void became a storm of light and fire. The VAR fleet faltered. Their communications jammed. Ward sent virus codes through their systems, hijacking drones and turning them on their own masters. For the first time, the aliens looked confused, then afraid. Cole stood at the viewport, eyes wide. "He's doing it," he said quietly. "He's fighting the whole fleet alone." Ward's voice came again, quieter now. "Not alone, just leading." The battle raged across the system. The Titan wreck cracked apart under stress, but Ward held it together through sheer will. He could feel himself fading, pieces of memory slipping away. He no longer remembered his face, only his duty. Inside his mind, the alien network opened before him. He saw the VAR command world, their central control hub light years away. He reached for it through the signal, pushing his code into their systems. The aliens tried to stop him, but his human mind was unpredictable, chaotic, unstoppable. Cole saw the readings spike again. "Sir, what are you doing?" Ward's voice was faint. "Finishing the war." He sent his final command through the network. The Titan's core flared one last time, sending a pulse through space strong enough to reach the VAR homeworld. Their systems overloaded. Across the galaxy, alien ships went dark. One by one, their engines died. The entire Dominion fell silent. On the Iron Wind, the lights dimmed. The link cut off. The crew waited, but Ward's voice didn't return. Cole lowered his head. "Goodbye, sir," he said quietly. Outside, the enemy ships drifted dead. The stars were clear again. Humanity had won. Weeks passed. The war ended. The Galactic Council sent no more demands. Earth rebuilt. Statues of Elias Ward stood on every world. He was gone, but his story was everywhere. Then one night, a deep space probe beyond Pluto caught a signal. Weak, broken, but human. A voice came through static, slow and cold. "This is Captain Ward, still holding the line. Can you hear me?" The signal faded, but it didn't vanish. It kept repeating, drifting across the stars, as if the man who said no to the galaxy was still out there, waiting for the next war.